The attorneys is not what's wrong with this stuff. It's those people.
Let's call the May 3rd, 2021 meeting of the Dalton City Council to order. Mr. Wall, lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda is before you. Do I hear any additions, deletions, corrections? Motion by Ms. Harlan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Qual. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Be nobody from the public. I've got no cards. I've got a proclamation. Let me come down there and read it, Margaret, and then we'll let you speak for a couple of minutes. This is for National Travel and Tourism Week. Can I ask you, do we have rent-a-cars?
Rent-a-cars?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just heard on the news that Grand Canyon, all those places out there don't have enough rent-a-cars. They got all these people flying in with no cars to rent. Whereas the power of travel has been a consistent driver of the Dalton-Whitfield County economy and workforce, whereas travel has been foundation of a healthy workforce, serving as one of the largest private sector employers in the U.S., supporting 17 million jobs in 2019, whereas spending by travelers has aided state and local governments alike, generating $180 billion in tax revenue in 2019 to support essential services and programs, whereas travel and tourism dependent businesses and organizations, 83% of which are small businesses, are responsible for welcoming visitors from all around the world to explore Dalton, Whitfield County, and all our country has to offer. Whereas last year, the coronavirus pandemic devastated every sector of the travel industry with staggering declines in 2020 compared to 2019, affecting every community in the country, including Dalton-Whitfield County. Whereas the travel industry cannot recover without the full return of leisure and business travel, as well as meetings and events by both domestic and international visitors. Whereas the power of travel will revive Dalton-Whitfield County and the United States and drive us forward to a more prosperous future. And therefore be it resolved, I, David Pennington, Mayor of the City of Dalton, Georgia, hereby proclaim May 2nd through 8th, 2021 as National Travel and Tourism Week, and urge our citizens to join me in recognizing the critical role this industry plays in Dalton-Whitfield County. Thank you, Mark, what you did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I only have two quick things. First of all, the national deficit for 2020 came out to be about 42%, but for Dalton-Whitfield, we fared better than that. And part of that had to do with our sports tourism. And obviously our business travel that did go into a lull but came back. So I want to thank Mayor and Council for helping us proceed forward and cautiously throughout the COVID pandemic. Number two, the convention center is still doing their meals, curbside pickup on Thursdays. You can now order online. This week's menu is meatloaf, mashed potatoes. We've also increased our breakfast a la carte piece. And your deadline is now Wednesday by 1 o'clock. So please order online. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Minutes are before you. Any corrections, additions, deletions? Motion by Ms. Harlan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wall. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. New business, Burr Park Facility Update, David Aft, Community Foundation.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. I call your attention to, I don't know what's going on with the thing up there. All right, thank you. All right, my name is David Aft. I'm the president of the Community Foundation in Northwest Georgia, and I'm here today to provide a brief update on our progress of the Burr Park Pavilion.
First of all, I can't begin this without saying thank you to the mayor and council. You guys have been supported both in spirit and in deed as we move forward on this. And we're excited to report to you that we are on our timeline. And I know answers to many questions I didn't have last time we were here. I want to thank particularly those individuals who've been part of this. And first of all, Derek Waugh, who's been a member of this team ex officio as a liaison to the Parks and Recreation, but also Kenneth Harless, the architect, Josh Scott at KRH, Jason Parker, Mark Buckner from Dalton Utilities, Greg Walker from the Dalton Parks and Recreation, Andrew Parker from Public Works, Tricia Bethel, community volunteer, John Wilson from North Georgia EMC, and myself. The purpose of this group is to make sure that we have all of the experts involved in this project, so they see with eyes that are not mine. All of them have experience far greater than I do in this project, so we appreciate the investment of the city in this project, and this team has been wonderful to work with. If you remember, just a few update on our timeline here is on December 7th, we formalized the agreement between the foundation and the city of Dalton. In January, we developed a set of project specifics and shared through our committee with interested builders in the area, asking them to make a proposal, first outlining what they would do. Secondly, is a commitment that the project they are proposing would be able to be done in a realistic time manner and within our budget, which, if you remember, is $600,000, $300,000 coming from the community foundation, and up to $300,000 from the city. The arrangement that the city has made with us is that the foundation will provide the first $300,000, and the city will provide the balance up to, but not to exceed another $300,000, and we've gone forward with that. We identified Felker Construction as of February 5th. Our team did come back together with some general guidance to Harless, and then approved a concept design, which I'll show you. Throughout the last 60 days, the design and architectural aspects of this have been finalized. We're at about 99%. A lot of this work is working with the trades, plumbers, HVAC people, the folks who are going to provide electrical and so forth, and reconfirming their estimated bids based on the final blueprints and so forth. We've received, as of I think today, the sign off from all of the trades committed to that, as well as Public Works, and the architect have agreed upon the portions that they will provide a very limited amount of support, and I appreciate Public Works and their commitment to this. Construction documents will be finalized, pricing confirmed. That's a this week thing, with the idea that construction fences will go up in place and site work begins. The mayor asked me the other day at the Oakwood when this thing was going to start. I told him soon. He asked it when it was going to end, and I said that would be anybody's guess. And I'd like to speak to anybody who's giving guarantees on construction projects these days, but we're fairly optimistic. Gene Fest this year will be a celebration of life for Gene Burr. It is slated at September 22nd or the 24th, I forget whichever one of those is a Saturday. And it is my hope that we have a building built down there with bathrooms, but it'll be in and around some of that time frame. All right, just to give you an idea, and this is a layout that you have seen before. This is an aerial view, somewhat of a topographic takeoff, and give you the general position on the property. Currently, there are about 8 to 12 parking spaces that run on that northern side of the park, and that is approximately where the footprint of the building will be. One of the issues that we've got is we have to make it as compatible with the existing sewage lines, water lines, and so forth that exist under the park. So it's taken a little bit of change to that. I actually think when you see the picture, it sets a little further back towards the railroad tracks by maybe another 10 feet. So it gives us a little more operating room at the end of that kind of food truck area in front of it, but that'll give you an orientation. Second thing is this will be built. There's about a 2-foot slope from the front of where the building will be to the back, and we've dealt with how to deal with that, but the building will be set up so it'll be flat. It'll be encircled by sidewalks, which is a little bit different than maybe the first time you would have seen this document. This is relatively hard to see, but I'll share these with Charles Oliver and anybody who needs copies of this. We were able, per the expectations of our contract with the city, this will provide a concession area. We'll also provide what is technically called a green room, which will allow performers or people using the park a place with a bathroom that they can either prepare for presentations, prepare for performances, or in some way stage that. And then we have a fairly substantial bathroom facility and then some additional storage on the property. But this is about what it'll look like. And again, I apologize for it's how it looks up there on the stage or on the screen. This is probably as good a rendering as you see. Some of the key aspects up here, the red brick facade, and also the way that the kind of little small roofing areas come down. That was all done with the hope that it would mirror some of the historic facades around there and other buildings and so forth, and as well as the freight depots that exist on kind of either side of that block. But this was designed with the idea that it could be built with the available materials. We are not going to be using things that will take 12 months to get here on a slow boat from China. So its primary building materials will be some concrete block. And lastly, I just want to say it's wonderful to do this. We are expecting a full slate of activities, really beginning at the end of this month with Memorial Day weekend, and the Civitan is hosting a music festival, which will be on, I believe, Saturday, the 28th or 29th of the month. Directly the week following that, on June 4th, we will begin a summer concert series, which has confirmations of many dates. I'm not going to let cats out of the bag, but I could indicate that we may see Shakespeare make another appearance. We are in serious conversations with presenting a symphony orchestra sometime this summer in and around 4th of July. Details to be confirmed. The Rolling Stones will be playing Dalton. Of course, not the big time Rolling Stones because they're still in quarantine in England, but the Music City Stones featuring Skylar Shotes, who's a local kind of guitar hero from Dalton, Georgia. And we have got an evening of just all sorts of cool stuff. We have a Latino night. We've got a rock and soul review night. We've got a couple of country artists that are featured and so forth. And then some surprises that, we haven't yet confirmed, but that party in September should be fantastic. And I would love to turn over the keys to our brand new bathrooms. Maybe even Derek will come up and we'll have his successor here, but he's the guy that got on board when we started it. Any questions from the mayor council?
Questions? Good job.
Thank you.
Big band's coming for David in his era, the big band era. Any of those coming?
We had one a couple of years ago and they were great. The Etowah Jazz Society, if you're ever looking them out of Cartersville, but we'll get them. What we're suffering from now is an abundance of people want to play Burr Park. Every musician within 100 miles has heard of this, and we're bringing our own version of musical culture to Dalton. And my goal this year is to have one event break 2,000 people. We'll just have to see what happens.
Even the Rolling Stones are older than I am.
There you go. That's true. They are. I can go on the record as saying that. Thank you.
Good job, Doug. Under new business, 2021 alcohol beverage application. Looks like there's one of them.
Yes, I have that, Mr. Mayor. The Public Safety Commission has recommended for approval a new license for pouring beer. The applicant business name is El Rey de Oro. And this is going to be located at 1531 East Morris Street.
In form of motion.
Yes.
Motion by Ms. Harden. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cruz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Number 5, fiscal year 2020 budget amendment number 7.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is the final budget amendment for 2020. Just to, as you can see you were given a detail of all the funds that were going to be impacted. The general fund's the largest. As you can see, the budget amendment shows we received our 2021 LMIG before the end of the year, so we're going to increase funds $365,900. Our TAVT tax was approximately $297,000 over budget. Our sales tax was $589,000 over budget. And then we did not fund as many grants in the airport, so we're going to reduce the airport grant fund transfer out. We did not issue debt in 2020, so that reduces the transfer out for the debt. And then we did not have as much COVID supplies to be reimbursed by the FEMA grant. So we are increasing our fund balance through these budget amendments about $1.7 million. And as you know, at the previous Finance Committee meeting, we ended the year with $1.6 million in general fund surplus. This is just to get everything shored up for audit and everything to balance out between all the various funds.
Questions, Cindy? Your motion on this? Motion by Ms. Harlan, is there a second? Second by Mr. Wall. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Number 6, fiscal year 2021 budget amendment number 1.
Yes, this is our first budget amendment for 2021. In the general fund, we have a contract that was ratified back in October for the IRA group that is looking into our plan, our changing over from VALIC to Empower. The contract amount is $27.5. The contingency, we're going to be reducing our contingency, so it has a 0 impact on our general fund budget. The next is our debt service fund, and this is to reflect the issuance of the 2020 debt and the payment of the 2010 bonds. Money in, money out, no impact on that fund. And then we have our bonded capital projects fund, the issuance of the new debt. We're going to increase our sources of revenue, $17,044,15, and then capital projects and cost of issuance, the same amount.
Any questions, Cindy? Your motion on this?
Moved.
Motion by Mr. Wall, is there a second? Second by Ms. Harlan. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Number 7, resolution 21-05, authorizing the adoption and approval of the fiscal year 2021-22 annual action plan under the Community Development Block Grant Program.
As you recall, back in on the Finance Committee meeting on April the 5th, you were presented with the recommended funding for our annual, this will be the 2021 7/1/2021 to 6/30/22 funding year. And as you recall, we went over the funding recommendations at the time, and this annual action plan is just the process and the application that goes to HUD that basically tells them what we're going to fund for the year 2021 through 2022. This would approve the Northwest Georgia Family Crisis Center 17.5, Latin American Association 21,000, Boys and Girls Club 20,000, Dalton Housing Authority 160,000, City of Refuge 98,664, and Program Administration 79,291 to the equivalent of our funding for the year 396,455.
Those are all figures agreed on by our consultant, right? Yep. Okay. Any questions, Cindy? Your motion on this? Motion by Ms. Harlan, is there a second? Second by Mr. Wall. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Number 8, contract for services with Integrated Site Work LLC for the Brookwood Drive Flood Mitigation and Stormwater Improvements Project.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On April 6th, the Public Works Department received 3 competitive bids for the project that you just described. The low bid was from Integrated Site Work LLC out of Calhoun for a total of $248,790.15. I will say the city's never contracted with this group, but we did reference checks. We did 5 reference checks with public and private sector clients, and they were all just terrific. So we're excited about working with Integrated. The project, as we've described before, involves the construction of a 0.4 of an acre dry pond, which will create right around 37,000 cubic feet of flood storage in an area that needs it tremendously. Will help address flooding issues for several residents in that area. In addition to that, it's going to allow us to rework a lot of the aged storm drain infrastructure within the city right of way. The project's going to be funded by our 2015 SPLOST account, and the Public Works Committee gave a positive recommendation to move forward with this project at the April 16th meeting. Be glad to answer any questions.
Where's this company from?
Calhoun.
Calhoun?
Calhoun, yes, sir.
Any question of Andrew? Your motion on this? Motion by Ms. Harlan, second by Mr. Wall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Next is ratification of contract for services with Dillbeck Lawn and Landscape Design, Inc. for the 21-23 mowing and other landscaping services at various locations within the city of Dalton.
If you don't care, Mr. Mayor, I'll describe this one and the next one at the same time. They're related. If you'll recall at our last council meeting on April 19th, the city council voted from the staff recommendation to terminate the mowing contract for several city mowing contracts at the cemeteries, Dalton Parks and Recreation Department, and the municipal airport, and award the contracts to the second place bidder back when we conducted the bidding on October 27th, 2020. For bid alternate A, we're proposing to use Dillbeck Lawn and Landscape Design, which is the cemetery mowing, as well as alternate D, which is the Dalton Parks and Recreation Department sites. Greg Walker's here with us. There's 13 sites at the Parks and Rec Department. The balance will be for the 2021 calendar year, $83,600, and for 2022 and 2023, $125,399.98. These mowing contracts are on a 3-year cycle, so we're filling the balance of 2021 and then awarding 2022 and 2023 if the work is satisfactorily performed. And then the other contractor for alternate B for the Dalton Municipal Airport is H&H Exteriors. The contract balance for 2021 will be $9,330, and for 2022 and 2023, it'll be $13,995. Contractors are starting work this week. It's taken some time to get staffed up and the equipment ready to take on this extra scope. Dillbeck is already performing the mowing at 13 or 14 sites in the city, including City Hall. And so it's taken them some time to get prepared to do that. I will say that there will be some budget impact. The second place bidder obviously is higher than the low bidder. But I think what the departments are prepared to do is work through the year to try to pay for that increase with our existing line items. And then if we have to do a budget amendment, we'll wait to do that closer to the end of the year. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Both of these contractors are from Dalton.
Question for Andrew? Are you awake down there? Okay.
I'm keeping an eye on him.
There a motion on this? This is on 9 and 10. All right, Ms. Harlan? Motion by Ms. Harlan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wall. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign. There be no other supplemental business?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
What?
I would like to, while Andrew's up, if he could give us an update on what he's doing up at Knob North at the golf course.
Okay, a couple of weeks ago, we started a major repair project at Knob North golf course to repair the cart paths. I think the cart paths were last repaved somewhere around 28 to 30 years ago. They were there were several issues that needed storm drain repairs to just get the cart paths in a condition to resurface. We started last week deep patching, and so we're almost finished with the front nine. Hopefully, starting next week after the rain passes through, we'll finish up the back nine and be in a position to resurface the full cart path. So we're excited about how that project's turning out.
Y'all doing a wonderful job. We're hearing nothing but good things.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., City of Dalton Fire Department will do vaccine. It's both first and second dose. People are eligible, age 16 years and older. Don't have to have an appointment. It's a drive-through event. So that's from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow at the convention center. And we continue to appreciate the support of the convention center for being an excellent host. So please tell any friends, family, this is a great opportunity to very easily get vaccinated, stay in your vehicle.
Your motion, we adjourn?
Motion.
We adjourn.